We talk about being the hardest workers in the room. We talk about getting after it. We talk about getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
We were bad. We intimidated, we dominated, but we took a lot of pride in that. We took a lot of pride in trailblazing and how the game was played time through. We would intimidate teams and we would want to dominate teams, but also too, we also had the thought process that a team was never going to outwork us. We were going to be the hardest working team in the country. We would go into, so we had a big game against Florida State, so we would go into their Doak Campbell Stadium, and instead of going through your general practice, what we would do is we would do things a little bit different just to intimidate them. So as a team, we would kind of all line up. We're in their stadium. You got their staff, you got some players watching us. Instead of going through our plays, we would just start to give cadence calls. I wanted to entertain. When I was 8 years old, I thought I was a combination of these guys. I thought I was a combination of Chuck Norris, Richard Pryor, Harrison Ford, and Rocky Balboa, and Harrison Ford from Indiana Jones. So I was like all these guys and Elvis Presley too. So I knew at that time when I was 8, I wanted to be an entertainer, and I loved the idea of that and what it meant. And when I was 8, I saw Indiana Jones for the first time, and I loved that character. Like, wow, that guy was so heroic, and he kicked ass, and he...
In today's world, so many people focus on what's happening and what's going on, and what they're not doing is what they should be focusing on, because a lot of times what you're not doing is bigger than what you are doing. And sometimes when it comes to becoming successful, it's all about what you need to subtract away from your life in order to become successful, because a lot of times it's not necessarily about what you add, because when you're trying to add so much, a lot of times you get overrun with information and you're adding too many things to your life when you need to sit back, relax, and figure out what you need to subtract from your life. Because a lot of times taking things away are going to make a huge improvement in your life, because it's all about the subtraction. You can be doing this, that, and the other, but you're also going to have things hindering your experience of life and growth, and hindering the fact that you're not learning what you should, or something's in your way from being able to go out there and achieve what you want to achieve. And a lot of times that's certain habits that you have, or a lot of times it's going to be people that you love and that you think truly care for you, when in actuality they don't, and they just want whatever's best for them and not the best interest for you. So you're going to have to cut some people off of your life who are bringing a negative aura or energy to you, and you just cut them off, because they're only going to hinder your experience in life. But you're going to also have to add some new friends and figure out new people that are going to love you and grow with you and care for you in ways that are going to be truly beneficial, not just fun and exciting times.
For me, failing has become critical in my growth. I graduated from the University of Miami. I had a terrible senior year. I had a bad injury. You only get one shot as a senior. You don't come back. And Warren Sapp came in and lit the world on fire with how he played. Pushed each other. We were partners. He outplayed me, beat me out of my position. And I had a really terrible year that year. Graduated, didn't get invited to the combine, and I didn't get drafted in the NFL. And I had one option, and that option was the CFL. So now you work so hard for 10 years, and draft day comes. You only get one shot. Warren Sapp gets taken in the first round. All my other teammates who are NFL worthy, we're gone. They're in the NFL signing their big contracts. And I signed a contract in the CFL to make $350 a week Canadian.
He was a great friend to so many guys, challenged father, but a great friend to so many people. So he went quick. There wasn't a lot of suffering, because in death, that's when we can spiral and think, well, I should have done this, and I should have called, and I should have sent more pictures. But we got to realize that the relationship that I had with my dad was a relationship that was appropriate when I became successful in a industry that he had given his life to. My father, for a lot of you guys who don't know, he was a professional wrestler, and my grandfather was a professional wrestler too. And my dad, Rocky Johnson, I'm half black and half Samoan, and thank you. And I think years later, once I became successful as a wrestler, he was very, very proud. And then what he did, he would take credit for everything. I feel like the day he died, that night I went to bed, and I felt so, again, grateful and moved, like emotionally, like mana and energy, because I realized, like, oh wow, I have a new relationship with you.
Let me just speak from the heart, speak from my gut, and really not have anything prepared, but just tell you what's worked for me. And maybe some of the stuff that's worked for me might work for you. Now, currently, presently, as you guys have your goals and ambitions, NBA championship, MVPs in this room, things like that, but then further on down the line, as you guys continue to live your life. The first thing I would just want to say is this idea and this notion that you can be anything you want, you can accomplish anything you want, right? We hear that. You've heard that from the time you were little boys. You hear that now. You're already incredibly accomplished.
You can win an NBA championship, MVP of the league. You could become president. You could become governor. You could be in entertainment. You could do Charles, and you could do Shaq. You could do that. You could do whatever you want to do. You guys know that. The thing that has worked for me is to remember the hard times. So, and I'm sure you guys all have your processes. And again, I'm going to tell you what's worked for me. So before a big movie comes out, before back in the days when I was wrestling with WWE, a WrestleMania match, anything big that would happen, I would always take a moment and I just remind myself, all right, I was evicted when I was 14. We were kicked off the island. We couldn't live in Hawaii. Had no place to live. A lot of shit happened then when I moved to Nashville. I was arrested multiple times by the time I was 16 years old. I gotta remember that.
So thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let us know what you thought down in the comment section below.